Hello there, welcome back to Crafters TV. It is Sunday. We've got a brilliant Sunday lined up for you. This is, of course, Colour Me Happy here with you for the next couple of hours, our weekly destination colouring show. We look at all types of different types of colouring. It's really exciting today because we've got a brand new launch for you in this segment. And I'm not on my own. She is back. It's the first time we've worked together in ages. Lily's here with me all day today. How are you, Lily?
I'm very well, thank you. Super excited to be here. And it's right, I feel like we've not seen each other in years, to be honest.
It's been a long time, isn't it? Really exciting this morning because we get a brand new launch, which is always lovely on a Sunday.
Oh, so exciting. I mean, we don't bring you launches in Colour Me Happy very often, and it's a Christmas one, so it's even more special, and I hope you love these as much as I do. It's going to be fabulous. Yeah,
it really is. Absolutely loads coming up in the show. I'd urge you early doors to get over to the website and have a little look what's coming up. Later today, remember, we've got two other fantastic shows for you. We have got a kinetic masterclass. Oh, I know, yeah, kinetic masterclass, which will be loads of fun. And then Second Chance Sunday, your chance to look back on all the best deals of the last week or so. So that the masterclass coming up at 2 p.m. in the UK, 9 a.m. East Coast, and then we'll have that Second Chance Sunday show for you at 6 p.m. here in the UK, 1 o'clock on the East Coast. But we're going to be creating lots of gorgeous things all day today, but specifically in this show, what can we look forward to?
Well, we're going to be bringing you these brand new Christmas card front colouring pads, and these are absolutely stunning. Perhaps you saw our everyday ones that we brought to you about March time. We've also got those on today's show if you missed out on those, so definitely check those out. But look at the sort of amazing creations you can be making when you get your hands on these fabulous Christmas card front colouring pads. They can be the front of quite a simple card if you like. Something like this, just a one pattern paper, a few mats and layers using the sentiments, and they are actually also included in these fabulous pads. But you can create beautiful cards just like these, but perhaps you want to take it a little bit further. Perhaps you like sort of different folds on your cards.
Isn't it?
How stunning is that? But really simple and easy. You can be die cutting the images out if you like, or you can be using them in the rectangle design straight from the pad, but just fabulous Christmas cards. These are going to be your really special Christmas cards. Perfect for use with any of your Spectrum Noir alcohol pens. The pads have been designed specifically for colouring with any alcohol-based medium, but look at the incredible effects you can achieve. So many different sorts of genres covered within the pads. Perhaps you want to go a little bit more traditional. We've got nativity scenes, we've got this gorgeous robin included, but like I say, it doesn't just have to be a case of popping the topper out of the pad and sticking it onto a simple card. You can really go to town with these if you so wish. So lots and lots of different options, but I'm so excited just to show you how amazing these card front colouring pads are.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fantastic show. Lots of you tuning in. You can get in touch in all the normal ways. Stephen's in Andover saying hi. Sarah Brown's here saying hello, everyone, from Melbourne, Australia. It's 8 p.m. here, hoping you're all well. Sending hugs your way. I'm well. Are you well, Lily?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah.
There you are. Lily's also very well. Alexia is saying hi to all of my crafty friends and colouring addicts. I love that. Rebecca says happy crafty Sunday, everyone. Lynn says hi, Joyce, Joe, Lily, the CTV team, the wonderful social superstar, and everyone. Yes, if you want to get in touch, then please do drop us a message. We would love you to do that. Let's dive in and have a look at this brand new launch, because I know lots of you have been waiting for this. You get 156 sheets within here on premium 240 GSM marker paper. The thing about this is what I love is that we know sort of what it is that you need for your markers. I think sometimes, I was in a shop the other day, Lily, and there was a lot of colouring books, adult colouring books, and I was looking at the paper and I was thinking, gosh, that would absolutely drink the ink, wouldn't it, when it comes to your markers? You know, with these, it's on premium paper, which is so important.
Absolutely. So these are not actually, we say paper and it's actually card. So these are going to take any of your alcohol-based mediums absolutely perfectly. Got lots of options on the show for all your Spectrum Noir alcohol pens. But like Joe says, there are lots of colouring pads out there, lots of lovely designs you will find, but the paper tends to be of quite a lesser quality. And so when you use something like an alcohol marker, it just bleeds, it doesn't blend right, you don't get the results that you really want to, but it's totally different with these pads. You'll get beautiful results because you've got that paper that's been designed specifically for use with alcohol pens, so just perfect.
Doesn't make all the difference. Love that you're getting toppers in here as well, so you can pull that together and create a full project if you want. 39 sheets in each of these pads, which is brilliant. So the first one you've got, they're all available individually. Wouldn't get them individually because you're going to get the saving when you get them all together, which is fantastic. The first one is the Miracle of Christmas. Now, the artwork looks quite cool, but when you see it coloured up, Whoa, I mean, they are going to make some really cool card fronts for you. The other great thing I love about them as well is that they are, of course, in a pad, which is handy, going to keep them all nice and pristine, but they detach easily. So it's not like a colouring book where, you know, it's all right colouring them in, that's the fun bit, then what do you do with them afterwards? This means you get all the fun of doing the colouring, then you can remove them and turn them into a gorgeous project, which I think is brilliant. So that's Once a Miracle of Christmas. There are 4 in here, and they are in sort of clearly defined different styles. This one is Nature's Christmas that you've got here. Very, very floral, this one. And when you colour that up, this is what you end up with. I mean, they make a real impact, don't they? The next one you have here is your Merry Christmas to All, which is this one just here. Again, you will get those sentiment toppers with each and every one of the pads, and when that's coloured up, this is what you end up with, which I think looks absolutely brilliant. I love Santa in that one, and the sleighs over the rooftops. Then we also have the winter scenes as well. Really beautiful, very classic imagery in this particular one, and that's what that is going to look like when it's coloured up. They should be $39.96 or $51. It is a brand new launch today, but we're still giving you a 20% discount, which is excellent. So $31.95 or $41.45 is what these are going to set you back today. However, you will be able to use your Club Inspired discount, of course, as you always can. Now, the weekend saver is meant to last all weekend. Lily, the price on this is absolutely bonkers. We were trying to work out yesterday if it was a mistake that it's less in the US than it is in the UK. And I thought Lily will be in tomorrow, she'll tell us, but it's too late now.
It is too late. Shall I tell you who put this deal together?
Was it you?
Me.
Yeah, it's a great one, isn't it?
I have to say, I'm really quite proud of this. I think it's a fabulous deal. It's got so many sort of essential things in there, and storage, let's be honest. I know for me personally, I can never get enough storage, but storage and adhesives, you can't go wrong. You've got such a brilliant selection of adhesives. So if you're a new crafter and you're thinking, what sort of adhesives do I need? I want to stock up on a wide range for different purposes, then this is brilliant. But to get, basically you're paying for the tote and you're getting all the adhesives for free, which is absolutely incredible, but limited stock, so you're going to have to go quick.
You're going to have to really get a wiggle on. Well, we were looking yesterday, you know, essentially in the US, for the price of the all-purpose and a couple of the red liner tapes, you get absolutely everything, because the bag on its own, $24.99 in the UK, $19.95 in the US. 2 lovely big compartments in here. You've got a precision. It does fold flat if you want it to. You've got 3 nice big deep pockets on the front of this one. You've also got these 2 clear slip pockets in the inside, and then all of your pen storage along the back in there too. So a really brilliant bag, fantastic. It's going to even hold things like your Gemini Junior plates in there if you want it to. It'll hold A4 cardstock for you. It's a great size. I know so many of you own them already. They've got them absolutely jam-packed full. It's a brilliant value on its own. However, today you get £20 worth or $45 worth of adhesives for free. So we're going to throw in there the Collall all-purpose glue. That's going to be in there for you.
Best glue in the world?
Yeah, absolutely, best glue in the world. The red liner tape, all 3 thicknesses, that's going in there. 3 different sizes of your foam pads are real essential, and some of your foam on a roll is going in there too. So $45 worth of adhesives free of charge in that bag for you. I know some people have got 5 and 6 of these bags, so they really are fantastic, but it is limited stock. In fact, if it's in your basket, I'd urge you to check it out ASAP this morning, because that will go. It's been a brilliant, brilliant weekend saver, that one. Right then, I guess we should crack on. Don't forget about my bundle bonanza running over on the website as well at the moment. There are a selection of goodies, some of them, well, it says up to 75% off, but actually up to 80% we've spotted over there as well. They must end though at the end of today. The prices are so low we can't hold them indefinitely, so if you want to have a rummage in my bundle bonanza, make sure you get over there. I've got, actually I'll just quickly share this one with you as well whilst we're here. We've got, as part of the bundle bonanza, the broderie on glaze, which is gorgeous. It's a 30% save, over 30% saving, £20 or $22.70. You get the Calais and you get the Chantilly in there too. That's one of loads of offers in that bundle bonanza. £16 or $18.16 as a platinum member. Right, I think everyone is poised at home, Lily. Lots of people got their markers out ready to colour along with you this morning, which is always nice, isn't it?
Fabulous, yeah, I love a little bit of colouring, especially on a Sunday morning, but it's even more exciting when we've got a brand new launch. So we're going to start off with a little bit of colouring. We've got lots of different pens on today's show, so lots of different options, and throughout the show I'm going to take you through all the benefits and sort of uses of all the different sorts of alcohol pens we've got within our spectrum, our range. But we're going to start off this first demo with our tri-blends. We've got some of the boxes on today's show, so if you're looking to start your alcohol pen colouring journey, they are a brilliant place to start. And we're starting with this gorgeous gorgeous design from one of the pads. Can't believe you're getting 156 sheets. There's so many different options, so many different sorts of genres as well covered, which is absolutely fabulous. We're going to start with the colouring, and I'm actually bringing in my rotating design board from Tote Tiffany. This is absolutely fabulous for all of your colouring. I just find it so much easier to use this when I am working with my pens. It just makes your life an awful lot easier. And you are getting within the bundle, you're getting the rotating design board, and you're also getting your magnetic sort of tool set as well. So a brilliant little bundle, especially if you're colouring on the go, or perhaps you're colouring on your lap on a tray. This is going to be brilliant.
Nice to have that magnetic ruler as well, because it means that if you are doing something smaller like these, you don't have to have it clipped to the top, do you? You can secure it in the middle, which is fabulous.
Absolutely, yeah. It just makes colouring a lot easier, and I'm all for making things easier. Then we can enjoy the bits that we really want to do, which is the colouring, really. So we're starting off with this design, as I've said. I absolutely love this design. It's very traditional, but at the same time, it's almost very contemporary. So you've got that real sort of classic meets modern, which I think is fabulous. So we're going to start colouring this, like I say, with our tri-blends, and we're going to use to start with our light yellow blend and our gold yellow blend. So starting off with our lightest tone, the light yellow blend is LY1. And with our tri-blends, basically, as the name suggests, you're getting 3 different colours, almost like 3 different pens within one. So if you are worried about storage, or perhaps you colour on the go a lot, and you don't want to bring in loads of pens, but you still want lots of different possibilities in terms of all your shading, in terms of all your blending, then these are absolutely perfect. I know for me, storage is a little bit of a premium. Space is definitely something that I lack a little bit in my craft room, given quite how much I've got. So anything that sort of saves space is absolutely fabulous. And I know if I'm going on a journey, perhaps I'm going on the train, going up to go and visit family, then these are the pens that I always bring, because I know I don't basically need to bring as many pens as if I was bringing something like my Classics and Illustrators, so they are perfect for that. But they also make our colouring really easy if we are new to sort of the spectrum of our system. Because within each pen we've got 3 different tones, which we know we're all going to blend beautifully. So we've got that light tone, which is what we're using at the moment to go all over this part of the image. We've also got our medium tone, and then we've got our darker tone to add our depth. So we don't need to worry about matching pen colours or finding different tones that are going to work together. We know that within that one pen, we've got all 3 tones, which will all blend together to give us that seamless blend transition from light to dark. So all we've done is we've coloured over that star. So a small section of the image to start with, that's with our LY1. And then we're going to go in with LY2, which is our mid-tone. And all we're going to do is we're going to flick from the inside, from the very centre, out towards the edges. We're going to start to build up this light and shade, this sort of sense of dimension, this sort of sense of shape as well to this image. So flicking out from the centre outwards, and we want to create the sort of effect that it's going to be darker in the middle, and it's going to go out lighter as we get towards the edges of this image. So that's with our mid-tone, we're flicking outwards, just like so, and then we're going to go in with our darkest tone within this pen, which is the LY3. And this is what I was saying earlier about how we don't have to worry about matching different pens and worrying about what's part of the same colour family and what's going to work together to give us this dimension. It's all within the one pen, so that we know that all of those 3 tones are going to work together beautifully. We can see that we're starting to build up that sense of dimension onto there. So that's with just the one pen, but we can actually take this one step further if we want to. If we want to add a little bit more light and shade. I'm now bringing in my gold yellow blend, and I'm going to go with my lightest colour here, which is the GY2. We can actually mix our different pens together. So different colour family, but similar sort of tone. If we go into the centre, that's going to add us even more depth and dimension. So if we want to really add more shade, we can then go in with the GY2, add that to the very middle, and then we're giving even more tone and even more dimension to this image. So very easy to create. We don't always just have to use the one pen within our colour, and we can actually mix and match different pen tones when you are a little bit more confident with your tri-blends, if we want to sort of further extend our colouring possibilities. But you can see that we've started to build up our light and shade really quite easily onto there.
I guess as well, Lily, these are going to be great, aren't they? Because you can get these now, start colouring these in, keep them in their pads if you want to, or keep them in their collections, and there would be a great emergency card over Christmas.
Absolutely.
You know, if you needed just a slightly larger card blank with one matte layer, with the card on the front, they're going to be absolutely perfect for that. Maybe you have to do loads of smaller cards. Maybe you've got children or grandchildren, you know, you do lots of cards for them. But these would be that perfect size for that smaller card. But you get to have the enjoyment of colouring them in, which is wonderful. And then, rather than just staying in the book, you know, you can actually do something with them, which I think is brilliant.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things about colouring in. I think a lot of people have got into using their colouring pads and getting into doing a little bit of colouring, but they colour all these lovely images and they just stay within the pads, and I think that's a real shame. We want to sort of show off all that colouring that we've done, and so by using these card front colouring pads, they've been designed specifically to actually pop them so easily on the front of a card base if you want. This can just have one matte and layer, perhaps a pattern paper behind, add on one of the sentiments, and you've got a ready done card. Like Joe says, perfect just to have in your stash if you do need that emergency Christmas card. And I think Christmas is sort of one of those times of year where we do send the most cards, quite often last minute. Quite often we need to get these cards ready at quite short notice, and these are going to be absolutely perfect for that, but they're not scrimping on the design. We're still going to get beautiful effects every single time because the artwork itself is actually speaking for itself. We don't need to add a lot of embellishments if we don't want to. All that hard work has been taken in the actual design, and it's going to give you beautiful creations. So we're starting to colour in sort of the rays of this star. Exactly the same sort of technique as we used for the star itself. So we went in with that same LY1, the lightest tone, all over that area. Then we added a little bit of shade around the top and the bottom using the LY2. Now we're going in with the LY3 to further darken that. And then like we did just with the star, exactly the same, bringing in our gold yellow blend to add even more light and shade into this part of the image. It's just really going to make this artwork pop and give us a really special look to our design. So just building up those layers, just thinking about sort of the form, the shape of this area. So we're having it darker towards that bottom left hand side. We're imagining the light shining from the top right hand side, so that area is going to be a little bit lighter. And we can just continue to really build up the light and shade and shadow on this area, exactly the same as we did with that star. So nice and easy to create, but so much fun to actually sit and colour these in. So that's the sort of technique we'd use for that area. We're just going to focus now on some of these areas around the top. So I'm sort of imagining that this is going to be like a stained glass window sort of effect. So we're going to colour in one of the areas around the top, and I'm going to go in with my ice blue blend. And again, we're going to start with our lightest tone. So all we're going to do is we're going to focus on one area at a time. So I always talk about when we're doing our colouring to break our images down into smaller sections. Focus on one area at a time and then move on to the next one. Makes it a lot more manageable, but also it means that we're going to be working when the alcohol ink is still wet. So working wet onto wet is a lot easier than trying to blend onto dark cardstock. You sort of get that blend a lot easier. So we're going over with our IB1, which is from our ice blue blend. Again, 3 colours within this one tri-blend pen. So we know that all 3 colours are going to blend together beautifully and give us that seamless blend transition from light to dark. So all I'm going to do in terms of shading is I'm just going to go around the edges with that mid-tone, leaving the centre as the IB1, not adding any shade onto there, and adding the darker areas just around the edge. I'm going to do exactly the same with the IB3 around the very edges of this image to make those the darkest area of this particular part of the picture. And then
looking at these images as well in these books, Lily, I think there's definitely, if you were maybe at the start of your colouring journey, there's definitely some that are more challenging than others, aren't they? So something for everyone within there. But if you were looking for something that's going to challenge you with your colouring and maybe work up to some more intricate images, definitely something in here where you could start with the easier ones and then progress forward.
Definitely, yeah, like we said, there's so many different sorts of images. Some of them have got lots and lots of detail, or images like this are really quite simple to colour in. So if you are new, then like Joe said, start off with the images that you look at and you think look most easy to colour in. And as you sort of build up that confidence, as you will, the more you colour, the more confidence you will gain. Colouring is definitely just all about practice. It's about building up those skills. It's about learning exactly how to shade, but it really is practice more than anything. So as you build up your confidence, you'll find that you're able to tackle some of the more detailed and intricate designs within the pad. But the artwork within these pads is so beautiful and so detailed and elegant and intricate. You could even be using these in black and white, or perhaps you want to just ink the edges with a brown ink and have them sort of sepia. So you won't even need to colour all of these if you don't want to. But if you are colouring these, you are going to get fabulous results. So that was with our true blue blend, and now we're going to go in with our blue turquoise blend. So we're just using different shades of our blues and greens on here, just to build up sort of a little bit of interest onto this top area of our stained glass window. So almost like sky sort of colours, just to start to build up this design, starting with our lightest, going in with our mid-tone around the edges, and then around the very edges we're using that darkest tone within the pen. Super simple to create this sort of effect, but really enjoyable just to build up those layers.
Really cool. Lots of love coming in for these. Lots of people chatting away still. So Susan says, Joe, you're looking very fruity today. I'm always fruity. On the inside anyway, at least, Susan. Linda says, good morning, Joe, Lily. Socials are my lovely crafty friends from Dudley, in the UK. Dudley is in
Midlands.
It's in the West Midlands, isn't it?
West Midlands,
they have a very distinctive accent. It's called the Black Country, where it is. It's where Johnny's in-laws are from, actually. Betty says, good morning from Portland, Oregon, Lily and Joe. I've been looking forward to this all week. Well, I'm glad we're here.
Me too. I have to say I love Colour Me Happy, but when we've got a launch, it's just even more exciting.
Yeah, it is really cool. There are lots of deals on actual pens as well for you. There are colouring mediums. We're going to share some with you in a moment. We've got great deals on the original tri-blends as Lily's using here. We've got the tri-blend brush pens. There are some classiques as well. Illustrators on the show. The rotating design board that Lily's using as well. If you want to go for that, it is available to you in the show. You get the rotating design board. You also get the magnetic sheet and the magnetic ruler. Very cleverly, that ruler, won't go on wonky. It sort of aligns itself so you get a straight line every time, which I think is almost like magic, Lily, how it sort of sets itself straight on the thing. As you pull it up and down, it has like points that it stops at when you're using it like in a portrait mode. It's very cleverly designed.
It's fabulous, yeah. You'd expect, because it's magnetic and it is a bit flexible, that you'd sort of not always get a perfectly straight line, but somehow you do, so it's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. I do absolutely love my rotating design board. Like you can see here, because I wanted to work on that area, rather than sort of rotate my wrist and get in sort of a bit of an awkward position, just rotate your board. It makes it so much easier when you are colouring, so you don't really need to rotate your artwork. You can literally just clip this into that bulldog clip at the top, or like Joe says, if you've got smaller areas, you can sort of clamp it in place using your ruler and then just rotate your board as needed. It just makes colouring so much easier, which is fantastic.
Particularly handy when you've got larger projects as well, isn't it? You know, sometimes you having to rotate a large project all the time can be a real pain. Or maybe you just want to, go back and colour the same bit and get a different perspective on it with your shading. Great that you can just spin it round so easily. Shadia says, good morning, Prince Joe and Lily. Just watching, busy with laundry.
Oh, no.
I've got...
Don't do that.
Lily, I'm that person that likes to iron all my clothes and put them all away. I can't be dealing with this ironing on the go malarkey that some people do. You know, where you iron something and leave. Because the thing is, every morning then you have to get the ironing board out, iron something, put the ironing board away. You can't put the iron away till it's hot. I think it's a lot of faff. Anyway, I've got 3 or 4 weeks worth of ironing to get through at home. I've got a pile in the bottom of the wardrobe that is like this. It is absolutely ginormous. So that'll be 2 days of my life when I finish on Monday evening.
Oh dear, how horrendous. I always do all my laundry on a Friday night, so mine's done for the week until next week when it comes around ever so quick. But yeah, we don't like laundry. We like crafting. We don't like laundry. Much better to sit.
All about the iron. See, I've got one of those irons.
I'm jealous.
Ones, yes. Also known as a steam generator iron. And it changes. It'll change your life. What I think is always great, because anything you don't like doing in life, get gadgets for it, Lily.
Absolutely.
And it makes everything so much easier.
Couldn't agree more. It certainly does. But yeah, I think I need one of those. But I'm too busy getting craft stuff to get ironing stuff. Too busy colouring. So we've done a few of those sections at the top, just using different shades of our blues, using different sort of bluey tones. start to build up that design. But we're going to focus on some of the buildings at the bottom. So I was sort of thinking of almost like jewel tones, quite rich colour tones when I was thinking about planning the colours for this image. So going the lovely purple around the bottom, that's our pink violet blend. And again, like we did exactly the same at the top, we're starting off with our lightest tone within the pen. Then we go to our mid-tone to add a little bit of shading. And I'm just adding a little bit of shading around the edges. Really, really easy to build up those dimensions. So that's our mid-tone within our pink violet blend. And then if we feel like we need to blend that colour out a little bit more, perhaps there's not enough sort of smoothness between that mid-tone and that light tone, all we do is we go back in with our light tone and just blend that colour, drag that colour out a little bit, just to blend that even more, so we get that really smooth blend transition between our light and dark. And then finally we go back in with our darkest tone, which is our PV4, and we're going to add that in around the very, very image edges even of that image, just to add that shadow and that shade onto there. And it makes those images really, really pop, but it's nothing particularly technical. So if you are a beginner, this is really, really achievable, especially when you've got your tri-blends. You're not having to worry about which pens to use together, which tones are going to work. You know the 3 tones within that one pen will all blend together beautifully to give you a beautifully coloured image. So all we do is we carry on colouring in that image exactly the same techniques as we've just been showing. So we've repeated the yellow on all of those rays from the star. We've built up the details on all of those different sections along the top, buildings in exactly the same way, and then we've just gone in with our aqua blue blend for those 2 trees, and that gives us that finished image. Now that could just be placed on the front of a card, perhaps, I don't know, maybe a 6 by 5 inch card would be absolutely fabulous, and that would look great. But let's take that one step further and let's do a little bit of a concept card.
It looks really cool, doesn't it?
Looks fab, doesn't it? Really pop, but it's a really traditional image, but it actually looks quite modern, the way that the artwork's been drawn, so just fabulous. So obviously we can pop this straight onto the front of a card, but we can also actually be chopping into these designs. So all I'm doing is I'm taking a pair of my scissors, I'm just going around the edges. I'm leaving about 2mm border all the way around the edge, and I'm literally just cutting around this design. Really easy to cut, we're just following that straight line. We're always turning our cardstock rather than our scissors, and that's going to give us that smooth finish. I always think it gives you a little bit of a neater, more professional result to add that slight little border around the edge. So like I say, just a couple of mils from the outside edge.
You're a whiz with those scissors, Lily.
I love my fussy
That's
cutting.
some excellent border cutting right there.
I do love a bit of fussy cutting, so it is just practice, but the more you do your cutting, the better results you're going to get. But how fab, it looks totally different. Having it from a lovely rectangular topper, but now having it as a shaped topper does really change the design. We're going to start building up our card. So all I've done is I've taken a 6 by 6 inch card blank. Yep, so a 6 by 6 inch card blank. Then all we've done on the left hand side, we've scored at 3 inches, so it creates that half fold on the front. And we're actually going to create a reversed easel. Bringing in some pattern papers. Now if you saw, I believe it was last week, we had the fabulous Bethlehem collection on. This is actually from the 12 by 12 pad. Now it has sold out, but if you were one of the lucky ones that managed to get one of these, this is from that particular pad. But of course you could be using any of our Crafters Companion Christmas pads. And no, on tonight's Second Chance Sunday we have got the Frosty and Bright, and we've also got the vintage snowman on there. There's some lovely bluey tones in there, so that would work fabulously too. But we're matting and layering onto some of our luxury cardstock. This is our glittering gold, and we've also got a pack of 3 where you get your gold, your silver and your rose gold in 12 by 12. You get both glitter and sort of like a pearl effect, and that works really nicely with the gold foiling that we've got within this paper pad. Just gives your cards such a luxurious finish, especially for Christmas.
I love glitter, I think it always just gives you a bit. You can't have too much glam, can you,
You
Lily?
can't. Let's be honest, for Christmas, if you can't have glitter at Christmas, when can you? I do love a little bit of glitter card. Same with mirror card. On all my festive mates, I think it looks fabulous. So there'll be a lot of glitter card coming up today, I will warn you. If you don't like glitter card, you might have to turn away every now and again. But those pads are absolutely fantastic, and with them being 12 by 12 as well, just means you get an awful lot from every single sheet. So we've done exactly the same a couple more times, just with smaller panels that we're going to add to these top pieces. So one onto here, and again it's the same pattern paper to get that design flowing from the base to these top panels, and again we've matted and layered onto that same lovely gold glitter card. I'm just using my tape runner for speed, but it is perfect for your mats and layers. That all-purpose glue is great as well for all your matting and layering. So if you do have a little bit more time, then definitely be using that all-purpose. It's my go-to glue, I have to say. Leanne's not wrong when she says it's the best glue in the world. It is absolutely fabulous. So this section is going to be sort of like our stopper, and then we're going to add our design onto here. So we're going to bring in some foam pads just to really lift this from the card base and make it really stand proud. We want to make a feature of that colouring, and all we're going to do is we're going to sort of just measure exactly where we want our foam pads. So I've got one at the top. We know that that's going to be fine there. We don't want any adhesive on the bottom, so we don't want to seal the card shut. So if we add one onto there and one at the top, that should be enough, but we won't have any adhesive where we don't want it. Then all we're going to do is going to line that up so it's central, top and bottom, left and right, and that's going to sort of stand like that. So then we'll need a stopper. So if we bring in this piece that we matted and layered earlier, and with it being a stopper to stop the card from falling down, we will need some sort of 3D adhesive. So your foam and a roll that we do get within that fabulous Weekend Super Saver is absolutely perfect for something like that. So a couple of rows of that top and bottom. It's early, well I say it's early, it's 11:30. It's not that early in the UK. Get my teeth in, and then we're just going to line that up like so. It's totally up to you how sort of stood up you want your card. You can have it really, really stood up quite high like so. You can have it going forward a little bit more. Completely up to you when you come to create your sort of, I'd call this a reverse easel.
Quite straightforward card concept this, but it's always really striking, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, it looks, when you first look at it, it does look quite complex, but when you break it down, it's actually super, super simple. It's just a normal card base with one extra score line. So really easy to create, but quite impactful. And finishing touch will of course be one of those sentiments that are included within the pad. You get a gold, you get a silver, and you get a rose gold of each
Lovely
design.
card.
But how easy was that to create using your card front colouring pads, sentiments from the pads, bringing in some of your own pattern paper, but looks fabulous, and it doesn't just have to be a normal fold card with these fabulous pads.
Yeah, it does look absolutely fabulous. Let me share with you again then what you're getting. It is brand new today. It's busy already on this. You've got 4 different pads, so you get 156 sheets across the 4 pads, which is brilliant value, which includes of course your toppers and then so your sheets and then your topper sheets in there as well too. So you've got the Miracle of Christmas, which is that one there, and that's what that looks like when it is coloured up. I particularly love this. You can have a lot of fun putting all of that shading into the dress that you've got just there. The next one in the collection is very floral, so it's Nature's Christmas that we are looking at here. So you've got things like the mistletoe, really lovely wreaths, poinsettias in there too, and again when you add that colour. The great thing is with these, you can make them classic as they've been coloured here, or you can make them more contemporary. You can really colour these to fit in with whatever style of Christmas projects you are making, which is wonderful. This one's Merry Christmas to all, loving Santa just here, and Rudolph, the deer here looking quite... All reindeers are called Rudolph, or all deers in my head, that's the way it works. We've then got winter scenes in this one too. I'm really loving the little street scene as well on some of this. Let's turn this up so you can see the other one. Particularly loving this street scene here, and we've got that beautiful church. Really, really lovely. You're going to have a lot of fun putting these together. You're going to have a lot of fun colouring these up as well. Shadia says, agree Prince Joe, love my gadgets, have an iron that can iron 6 shirts at once. 6 shirts at once, that's amazing. If you want to go for this brand new launch, $31.95, $41.45 is your price. That is a 20% saving when you get them all together. You can get them individually, you don't get the saving when you get them individually, so do bear that in mind. Teresa says, I've just ordered the rotating design board and the carry bag with the adhesives. Both will be great additions to my crafting. Regina says, good morning Joe and Lily, watching from Buffalo, New York. I'm actually getting ready for church, so I'm going to do this card when I come back, as I've already received my Bethlehem collection. Wonderful. Which collection was the background paper from? Sarah was asking.
Bethlehem.
It was the Bethlehem.
Bethlehem
one.
12 by 12.
Brilliant. Yeah. Linda saying beautiful, and Sarah saying just beautiful, Lily. Now, maybe you need some markers to do your colouring with. We've got you sorted there as well, because we've got our tri-blend markers on the show. I've got an open one in here. I have got an open one. These are brilliant. This one's the Essentials I've got just here. And what you've got is 3 different pens in one. So you've got the same colour, so this one here is the coral, for instance. You've got it in the lightest shade, you've got it in the medium shade, and also in the darkest shade too. So it means that you can get that really great 3-pen blend really simply, and it's all in the one pen. Also, you get the same shade time after time. I know there's some colouring systems out there where you add a lighter colour to a dark colour and then you shade and the colour changes as you draw it out. That's great, but the problem is with that, you can't go in and replicate the same shading every single time. So this is a really, really simple way. I mean, even I can use these, so if I can use them, honestly, absolutely anyone will be able to use them. There's 2 different options for you. First one is the Essentials, which is this one just here. Now, the Essentials is definitely your starting point. So if you're starting your journey with tri-blends, these would be the go-to ones that you'd go for first. You've got 24 pieces in here. That's actually 72 markers when you consider you've got 3 markers in each one of those pens there. And then what you have here is the deep blends, which is the next option. It's pricing exactly the same on these. What this does is this gives you 12 new colours and 12 extensions from your Essentials. So it means that for 12 of these colours, you will then have 6 shades of them, and then you've got 12 extra colours within there too. Very, very simple. If you're going for both, you are getting a complete collection. $51.19 or $76.77 if you want to get those as a Platinum member. You're still looking at less than £1 per pen because you've got 3 markers in each one of those particular pieces, which is incredible. Now, I'm afraid it's last chance on this next item. How many have we got left, Johnny? We had hundreds of these, hundreds of them. We thought it'd last the entire weekend. There are 7 left. So the next 7 people that check out their basket will be able to avail of this. The brilliant thing is that the Tote's wonderful value on its own. Loads of storage in here. You'd be surprised just how much you can get in these. They're like a little crafty TARDIS. But what you are getting today is £20 or $45 worth of adhesives included for free. So we're going to give you 3 of our red liner tapes. They're going in there. We have also got 3 sets of our foam pads. They're going to come included for you. You've got the all-purpose glue, which is like the hero glue in the range, and you will get also the foam on a roll. That is all going to be in there for you if you are one of the next 7 people to order it. If you're not one of the next 7 people to order it and it sells out, you can come and buy the Tote at $24.99 or $19.95, but you will not be getting the foam on a roll, you will not be getting the foam pads, you will not be getting the 3 red liner tapes, and you will not be getting the collar all-purpose, all of which has a combined value of $45. Now, I know how I would rather buy the portable Tote, definitely when it's coming with all of those free adhesives. So make sure if it is in your basket, you get it checked out before it sells out. Right then, we're going to go back to the pads. Very, very busy on these. I'll just change the details back for you. Here we are, $31.95 or $41.45. You're getting all of them there, and it is a brand new launch. Not just the pads, but also the toppers included too. What would you like to share with us next, Lily?
We're going to work with this beautiful Santa image. I absolutely adore this design. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So traditional. There's something about an image of Santa at Christmas, I think, that's just so magical. And I have to say, I love a traditional Santa, and this is an absolute joy to colour. I have to say, I just loved colouring this one, so I really want to share with you a few techniques with this image. This time we're going to be working with our tri-blend brushes. So exactly the same setup as with our regular tri-blends, just with a different nib with our brush nib on these. So we're going in first with our Fair Skin blend. I'm going to start with our palest again, which is our FS6. And we're going to start with let's start with Santa's hands. So all we're going to do is we're just going to colour all over this section of the image just with our palest tone. So the beautiful thing about these pens is you get such a lovely smooth lay down of colour. That brush nib is really, really super soft. It's not scratchy at all. I've had mine for quite a while, and you'll find that the nib doesn't split, it doesn't splay, you don't damage that brush at all. That beautiful quality brush nib will stay intact even when you do colour lots and lots with these, as let's be honest, I do. Mine get quite a lot of hammer. I absolutely love using my tri-blend brush pens, and they're great for lots of different techniques, like when we'll see a little bit later when we colour in Santa's beard. They're great for your skin, and they're great for colouring fur and hair. Any sort of techniques where you use that flicking motion, then your brush nibs are absolutely perfect for that. So using exactly the same technique as we did with our regular tri-blends, now we're going in with our mid-tone, which is the FS7. And the brilliant thing about these carved front colouring pads is they give you all the clues already within the artwork as where the light and shade is going to be. So we're building up a little bit of shade, following those lines that have already been put within that artwork. So if you are a beginner, these are still really easy to work with. I'm not having to worry too much about the light and shade. I'm just following those lines, and I'm going in with my darkest tone, just around the edges and around the bottom, around areas where we think there'll be a shadow cast, but we're not overthinking it too much. We're not getting really, really technical. We're just building up that dimension onto there to make this image really, really pop. And this is with our fair skin blend, so darkest areas onto there like so. But we're going to bring in another pen, very similar to how we did on our first image, how we added in that gold yellow pen along with our light yellow. I want to give this sort of a really warm glow. When I think of Santa's at Christmas, I think of the rosy cheeks, I think of him having really lovely warm glowing skin. So we're going to bring in our pale pink extend, but we're just going to use the palest tone, which is our PP2. And around the areas where we added our darkest tone from our first pen, we're just going to add a real hint of a tint, just a little tiny bit of this pink, and that's going to add a little bit of warmth, more dimension, but more than anything, it's going to add a little bit of warmth onto this image. And that is going to bring our image really to life. We do exactly the same on the skin, on the face as well. We're going to focus now onto the beard, and I absolutely loved colouring this beard in. It's so much fun to build up all the layers, all the dimension onto this area. And if you've never coloured in a beard before, it's just the same as colouring in ordinary hair, so it is nice and simple to do, but it's really, really fun to build up that sense of dimension, that sense of movement almost. So I'm just going to focus on the moustache area to start with. Like I always say, just break your image down into smaller sections, one area at a time. When you've mastered that area, when you're happy with that particular section, move on to your next section, and it's just repeating exactly the same technique. So we're going in with our ice grey extend with our palest tone, which is our IG1. So that's our lightest tone onto there. We're just going to start to build up the colour onto this particular area. We're also going to be using our extend, our ice grey blend and extend together. So it just goes to show how using the two sets, the two different boxes of your tri-blend brushes, which is really hard to say, tri-blend brushes, shows how well they all work together. So if you are starting off with one box, you will still have lots and lots of different colouring possibilities, plenty of colours, plenty of shading that you can add into your images. But if you are able to stretch to both, it will just extend the possibilities of all your shading and all your different colour tones even more. So now we've gone in with our IG2 just around the edges, and all the time we're just following those lines that have already been put in by the artwork, following those lines with the clues as to where the light and shade will be onto this image. And just adding in now our IG3 to start to build up that shading onto there, just around the very edges. And then to finish it off, we're going to go in with our IG6. You could go even darker if you like. There is also an IG7 and IG10 within the other pen. But just to keep it fairly pale, not adding in too much dark tone into here, to keep that light area around the middle. We're just going to go around the very edges with our darkest tone. Again, we're just following that line work within the artwork. So it's nice and simple to actually build up this shading, but it starts to make that image really pop.
You know, these are well designed, these lids pal. Let me try that again. These
It's
pads,
catchy.
these pads, Lily, sorry.
Yes.
I'm mesmerised by Lily's colouring, that's what it is. When you've got so many lines in there that help you, I mean, it's really clear that they've been designed to be coloured, isn't it? Rather than images that are not designed to be coloured, which don't have that texture in there. I mean, these are going to help you, aren't they? Knowing where to put the colour, but then also with the look once it is coloured. It's very clever.
Absolutely, but it's a really fine balancing act. It's a balancing act by having enough lines in there to give us all the clues, but not overshading it so that there's not enough to colour. So it's really, really clever the way that it's been done. But we just carry on building up that exact same technique around the full image. We're going to go in now with our dark red blend and we're going to shade a little bit of Santa's coat. So I'm just going to focus on this small section down the bottom here. And again, the same technique, we're going in with our DR1, which is the lightest tone within this particular image. We're going round. I tend to sort of work in circular motions, just little small circles as I start to colour in a particular area with my lightest tone, just to build up a nice even layer of colour all over that section of the image, just to lay down that foundation for us to add our shading onto. And that's our lightest tone onto there. Then we go on with our mid-tone, and again it's all just the one pen, all 3 tones within one pen, so really, really simple. If you are new to all your colouring, or perhaps you've only done a little bit of colouring before but you've never really done any shading, then this is going to be brilliant because it's going to allow us to get that shading but without having to think about it too much, which is fabulous. If you want to blend those 2 tones together a little bit more, go back in with your palest tone and just blend around the edges where the light and the dark overlap, and that will help to blend out that colour even more. And then we go back in with our darkest tone, which is our DR7, and I'm just going around the very edges of this area using that colour. And you'll notice that underneath my artwork I've got a piece of scrap paper, not just to protect my rotating design board, but it's always a good idea when you're colouring with your alcohol pens to have something like a sheet of cardstock underneath, something porous, because you will get a bleed through to the other side. That's completely normal, and it just means that it's got somewhere to go when the colour bleeds through. It's not going to be sucked back into the cardstock. It can bleed through into that piece of scrap paper underneath. It's going to give you the best result. So you can see how we've started to build up the dimension just on that small section. We carry on with exactly the same technique for all the other red areas within this image, but when we start to colour up the full image, this is the sort of effect we can create.
It's incredible, isn't it?
I mean, it looks like quite a transformation, but it's exactly the same techniques, just repeating them in different sections. The only difference that I've done on this one is on the beard I've added a little bit of ice blue blend, so IB1, and all we've done is we've just added tiny little flecks of that blue to really bring that beard and moustache to life and give it even more shade and tone.
The texture on the fur trim is incredible considering it's white.
Yes, so by adding a little bit of grey onto all your white areas, it will make them really pop and give them that shading and dimension. But nice and easy just to build up that image. And what we've done to finish it off, we've gone around the outside with IB2 just to really, really bring that image to life and make it pop from the background. So to make this into, I was going to say a card, but we're not actually going to make it into a card. I want to show that although we do call these card front colouring pads, of course we can be using them on other projects as well. I mean, they'd be fabulous if you want to do home decor for Christmas, perhaps you want to do frames to decorate your home. But what we're going to do here is we're actually going to create a box using these. So card front colouring pads perhaps. What about box lid colouring pads? Doesn't have quite the same ring to it, but absolutely you can be decorating your boxes with these. So we've just matted and laid it onto a piece of silver, and this is from one of those 12 by 12 pads that we've got in a pack of 3, your silver, your rose gold and your gold, and this is from the silver pad. It's sort of like a pearly finish onto there. Our pattern paper that we're using here is from the Vintage Snowman 12 by 12 inch pad. You will find that on the Shop the Day category for today, but a fabulous red tone that we've got onto there. And then we've done exactly the same with some panels that go on our box sides. Then we've got another sheet from exactly the same 12 by 12 pad, that Vintage Snowman, in lovely grey tones. We're going to mat and layer that again onto that same more silver cardstock that we used for all the others, just to keep that design flowing between all our different mats and layers. And then we're going to bring in our box base. So one for our lid, one for our base. So we've cut 2 pieces of cardstock to 9 inches by 8 inches. We've scored at 1 1/4 inch depth using our Ultimate Pro. We've got one for our base, we've got one for our lid, and we know that's our lid because I've put an L on it. So I shouldn't forget, but yeah, that's it. That's my little clue, because our lid's going to be about 1/8 of an inch bigger. But when you are using your Ultimate Pro, you just cut your cardstock, both pieces to exactly the same size. And by using your box making technology in your Ultimate Pro, or perhaps you're using your box board, any of our box making Ultimate boards will be fabulous for something like this, because you don't have to do different measurements for the box and the lid. Exactly the same size of piece of paper to start with will give you the correct size lid and base. So building up our box base using some of our tape runner just on the tab, stick it together. Red liner tape that you're getting within your bag is absolutely perfect for this because it's super strong and you know that it's going to stay nice and firm. So adding my tape onto my tabs, but I'm actually going to add my mat and layers onto here first. Much easier to add all your mats and layers onto your box lid before you actually build it. It's just going to make it a lot easier and you're going to get a much neater finish to your box. So we're starting off with our largest panel into the very centre, a little bit of tape onto there. We're going to add that on flat, and then we're going to bring in our side panels that we matted and layered, same pattern paper, same mats and layers, so we'll get that flow, that sort of continuity between the lid of the box and the sides of the box lid as well. So adding those onto there to start to build up this design of our box. It's quite simple to create something like this. It really is just a few mats and layers. It's about choosing the right papers, choosing pretty papers that are going to match with the image that you've coloured, but you can start to build up something that's going to be really special as a lovely festive gift. It's going to look absolutely fabulous, especially when you've got a hand-coloured image. There's something super special about giving a gift where you've taken the time not only to hand make the gift box, but you've actually also hand-coloured the image. It's going to make a really special gift. So I've added those onto the side panels just like so, and then we're going to add a few more mats and layers to the lid, and then all that'll be that box all done and good to go. So we're going to start to build up our design. So I always say it's a good idea to sort of lay out your composition before you decide where you're going to stick anything, and then when you're happy with where everything is going, then start to stick your different layers down. And then we're going to add this about 3/4 of an inch from that left hand side. Then we're going to add our topper, just using some foam pads to make this really stand proud from the box lid. After all, it is sort of the main focal point of this box, so we want it to really stand proud from those backing papers. So we add a few foam pads onto the back, plenty on there to make sure it's nice and well adhered, nice and sturdy, but you are getting your foam pads within your weekend super saver if we do still have any left. I'm not sure if you've managed to snap them all up just yet, but you are getting 3 different sizes within there, and it's always good to have a different
I love that panel
range.
in the back. It's a really cool addition actually.
Yeah, it just sort of finishes it off. Yeah, it finishes it off ever so slightly.
Really
it brings out the grey that we've added.
Almost
within
looks
the
like
image.
a faux bow, or a four ball, Johnny would say, a four ball.
Yeah, it brings out that grey that we've got within the colouring, so everything's going to tie together really nicely in terms of our different colours that we're using. Oh, I'm hearing in my ear, update, only 5 left.
Yeah, 5 left
quick.
of that tote. You're going to need to be quick. Next 5 people. In fact, I think we better finish this demonstration and then give everyone a chance to check out.
Gosh,
Lily.
yeah. So this is looking fabulous, but it's missing just the one thing, one of those sentiments, because after all, we are getting them included within each pad, and we're going with a silver one this time. On our last card, we used the gold one, but you are getting silver, gold and rose gold in every single pad. So it doesn't matter what sort of design you're doing, what sort of colourway you are using, you'll have a sentiment that will match beautifully. And that is our box all finished off. Quite a simple design, but because of the strength of that artwork, how beautiful that artwork is, it looks really quite special, but so much fun to colour.
Absolutely gorgeous, and something you're going to be able to do as soon as you get these home, which is excellent. And nice to see them used in a box, just showing you not just for cards. And they could almost be little Christmas postcards if you wanted to send someone a Christmas postcard rather than an actual traditional Christmas card, would be another great way to use it. And you've got the option to use any of the colouring mediums you wish on here. So you're going to get the Miracle of Christmas, which is going to give you all of those lovely coloured images. You've got Nature's Christmas, which is this one just here. I mean, that one looks absolutely exquisite when it is coloured up. We then also have Merry Christmas to All, which is this one here, and that is going to colour up, as you can see there. This one here is your winter scenes, And then that is what that is going to produce for you. Absolutely stunning. You're getting all of your sheets in there, then you're getting your foiled sentiments in there too, which are just awesome. And those foiled sentiments are just going to pop right out. They're all die cut for you already, which is excellent. A brilliant deal, a great price. Wonderful to have such a good saving on a launch. A lot of you have got it in your basket at the moment. I'm going to give you an opportunity to check out. What I would say is if you've got the tote in your basket, you need to check it out. The next 5 people to check out will get this. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that now. Whilst you do that, here's all the details of Club Inspire.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash. Draw, decorate, and customize your world with the colorful Spectrum Noir acrylic paint markers. Each premium paint marker gives opaque coverage on ceramic, glass, wood, and let's not forget paper, cardstock, and canvas. These versatile markers are filled with highly pigmented premium water-based paint, offering beautiful, rich, and smooth coverage. The colors can be blended together and the fast-drying opaque paint is ideal for layering. A 3mm bullet tip offers smooth strokes and a precision valve mechanism allows rich and consistent flow with no clogging. Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash.
We've had to make some changes to our shipping charges and we want to keep you informed. With continued pressure on domestic shipments around mainland US, we've had to temporarily increase the cost of our regular 6 to 10 working day standard shipping service from $9.99 to $12.95 and our free shipping threshold from $100 to $125. We also have some really great news to tell you. We've introduced a brand new shipping service called Express Delivery. This is a fully tracked door-to-door service which takes 3 to 7 working days and costs $19.95. This option means you'll get your crafty goodies in your hands sooner, meaning less waiting and more crafting. We're also upgrading delivery services for our Gold and Platinum Club Inspire members who will now receive priority delivery on all of their orders. And if that wasn't enough, we've upgraded these orders to our new Express 3 to 7 day service. Your patience and understanding throughout this very busy time has been amazing. So we'd just like to say a huge thank you and we look forward to chatting to you again very soon.
Right, very, very busy. Now, just since you've seen Lily using them, we've got very busy on these, our Tri-Blend brush pens. So let me share them with you. These are brilliant, one of the newest additions in the Tri-Blend range. So everything that you know and love about the original Tri-Blend, same ink formulation, that proprietary ink formulation, but now you've got it in that soft brush nib instead. So excellent if you want to add texture, brilliant if you want to get lots of colour down at once. Exactly the same though, you've got the dark, the medium, and the light blend in each of these as well, which is excellent. This is a full collection as well, the 24 pieces that we have here. So let me share them with you. A great deal again for you, $63.99 here or $95.96 gets you all of them. And you can see you've got all of these colours here. You can really see as well how you get that seamless blend with the 3 different colours. And you get all of these ones as well. Kind of a great essential kit for you. $51.19 or $76.77. It's hard to say, isn't it? 76, 77. 76, 77. Good job I haven't got a lisp. I'd stand no chance of getting that right. A lot of you have checked out on those. They are very busy. I love them. I think they're great. Definitely a place for those alongside your original tri-blends as well. They're really great for maybe going in and highlighting, adding texture over the top. Busy there. Also busy on this next item, the universal black pen trays. These are excellent. You get 6 in here. $17.99, $22.47. These are modular as well, which is really important. So you can either stack them up as they are there, you can have them cascading backwards so you can get them nice and easily, or you can put like 2 side by side, you can have 3 and 3, you can actually tier them up and sort of stack them up around a plug socket or something like that if you've got them on your work surface. Very clever how they work. So you get 6 of those for $17.99, $22.45. We're going to go for the clear ones. We also have the clear ones available as well. Now you don't see these very often. Now, is that one... If that's $22.49 for one tray, I've never said this before on Crafters TV, don't buy that. Don't buy that. No, thank you. Let's go back to the one before, because that is much better. But let's go back. Let's go back. There you are. Get that one. Don't get the other one. Don't buy that. Oh, it's okay. Let's go back. Let's go back then. Let's go back to the clear. Let's go back to the clear one. Right. Let's show you the clear one again. You don't get one. In that case, do buy it. You get 6 of them, which is excellent. Ignore the graphic, you won't get one, you'll get a 6. They are slightly more expensive, simply because they are more expensive to manufacture, the clear ones. But if you love the look of the clear one, then you can grab them here. You get 6 of them and they're modular in exactly the same way that our other ones are. So there you are. If it was one for 20 quid or more, I'd be like, no, absolutely not. No, thank you. Right, let's go back to the Christmas card fronts. Very, very busy on these at the moment. Loving these. Might be lovely actually if you've got people that, you have people that sort of find out that you're a crafter, Lily, and they make noises, don't they? They might like to just give it a little go.
Yeah.
What a really great idea, because actually you could buy these you could break these down if you bought them as Christmas gifts. Give one, and maybe if you've got a few duplicates of pens in your stash, you give those with it, or you get we do lovely little starter collections or single colours of tri-blends over on the website. You can actually make up a few little gifts from this. I think they'd be really giftable, don't you?
Absolutely, because you get so much within each pad. Just getting the one, if you are gifting it, it's still going to be a great place to start. But let's be honest, if you're getting one, get all 4. You want all 4 because there's so much variety in the designs across the 4 different pads. We're actually going to work with next, which is maybe my favourite pad, apart from the other 3, which are also my favourite. But anything that's got florals in there, I absolutely adore. And these poinsettias are absolutely beautiful. But I want to show you how we can take this even further. We can actually snip into these and create a little bit of decoupage. But we're going to start off with the colouring. So going in with our illustrators this time, these are brush nib pens. Well, they are dual tip. On one edge we've got a very fine bullet, and on the other end we've got our brush marker. But we're going to be using the brush nib on this particular image. And we're going in with DR7, 4 and 2, but also GY1. This might look a little bit like a strange combination, but I want to show you some of the cool effects we can create by ombreing between different colour families. So we're actually going to start off with GY1. So a totally different colour family to our red tones that we've got within this particular blend, and we're going to concentrate on this poinsettia in the middle. We're only going to colour a small section, but as usual it's going to be exactly the same technique that we repeat on different sections of this image. So once you've mastered colouring in one small section, it's going to be just a case of building up that image by repeating that same technique. So we're going to go into these 4 I was going to say petals, but I think on a poinsettia you actually call them leaves, but I could be wrong. I'm not quite sure where I've got that idea from, but
yeah, I think they are leaves. Isn't the flower like that? That cluster in the middle is the flower, isn't it, on a poinsettia?
You might be right. Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think these are just the leaves. Yeah, the foliage.
Foliage. So we're just going to add this at the very edges. We don't need to worry about colouring the whole leaf or petal or whatever it may be, just the very edges of this particular area. And then we're going in with our lightest within the DR family, the dark reds. This is DR2. And this is going to look a little bit strange to start with, but don't worry, all will become clear, all will sort of start to work. And this is something I do quite like doing with colouring. I like to start off with something that looks a little bit strange, or perhaps starting off with a few colours that you look at and sort of think, nah, there's no way they're going to work together. But then as you sort of build up that colour, build up that design, as the image starts to come to life, it all starts to make a little bit of sense, and you start to get a really cool and interesting effect on your coloured images. What we're doing here is we're flicking from the inside towards the edges, and again, this image has got all the detailing already. We're just following the lines, we're just following those veins within those leaves to start to build up the colour. Then all we're going to do is going to go back to that GY1 that we started with. I'm going to start to blend out the edges. So just like so, we're going to start to pull out that red towards the edges, and it's going to sort of blend this into almost like an orangey sort of tone. If you are finding that it's not blending as much perhaps as you're wanting it to, and you're not getting that smooth enough blend, all you're going to do is you're going to take your red that you've just used, and you're just going to do a little bit of tip-to-tip transferring.
I like this technique.
Love this technique. We'll do a little bit more of this later.
It always worries me touching tips.
Oh, a lot of people get quite concerned about this, and they worry about contaminating your markers. And you do temporarily, because you can see that we've got a bit of red on there. But all you need to do is you just colour out that colour that you've transferred, and you will get back to your original colour. So all it is just a case of sort of flushing out that colour. You can see it's starting to go back to normal now, and it will in not very long at all. Obviously, it depends how long you've fused that colour for, but you do get back to your normal colour. So if I scribble down, you see we've flushed out all that colour, and we're back to the original GY1. So I think we sort of get a bit daunted, we get a bit worried about ruining our pens, but don't be concerned at all. You will get back to that original colour. And you can see that's allowed us to really blend out from the red all the way to the yellow. Then we're just going back in with the DR2, just to sort of add a little bit more contrast onto there before we build up a little bit more shade. So then we're going in with our mid-tone of our DR family, which is our DR4, and you will find these colour tones within that box of 36 illustrators we've got on today's show. So if you are wanting to create a technique like this, then that box is going to be a perfect one to go for to give you all these colour tones. And what we're doing again is we're following those lines, those veins that the image has already got in there. We're not having to sort of make this up or second guess as to where this is going to be. We're just adding this to the very centre along those veins like so, and then we're going to go in with our darkest tone, which is our DR7. We're going to really add that little bit of shading onto there, just around the very, very centre, along that vein, around the middle, and that's going to give us that depth and dimension into there. And very, very easily we've created really quite an unusual.
It's amazing that it really
How
does.
eye-catching does that look? I mean, it would have looked great if we would have coloured in. How about we actually go in and do exactly the same, but we take out the GY1 and see the difference. Let's have a little look then. So let's start with DR2. So we're going to do exactly the same technique.
Sorry to interrupt. 2 left. On two.
Oh my gosh.
Hundreds, there are 2 left. The next 2 people to check out will get it, but don't miss out. If you do want it, if it's in your basket, you need to check it out right now.
Can I just say, so I checked the stock levels on Friday morning when I was in the office before I came down. I came to talk to Johnny and I said, don't worry about this weekend super save, we've got plenty. It'll last us all weekend, don't worry about it, we've got a few hundred. And I said, it's a great deal, but we'll be all right all weekend. And I come in this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, it's limited stock. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Lily, as well as being a superstar craft expert, is also the person responsible for putting the shows together as well, deciding what products are going to be on, what the deals are going to be. If you want a good deal on something, you have to sweet talk Lily, because she decides, how much discount you're getting essentially.
Absolutely, but I couldn't believe it when I come in this morning when John says, they're limited stock. I said, you are? So what we've done with this particular petal is we've done the same technique, but we've taken out the GY1, and look at the difference. We've still got some lovely shading on there. It still looks fabulous, but how much better, how much more effective does it look by bringing in that yellow at the very edges? It really does just give even more depth and dimension to those leaves, so it just looks fabulous. So just another technique. We're going to show a similar sort of technique, but ever so slightly different on some of the leaves. So we're going to go in with our DG1 to start with. Lid's just fallen off. I always try and replace my lids. Once you've done your colouring, always try and pop your lids back on, just to make sure your pens don't dry out. I mean, it's not sort of an instant thing that happens, so I wouldn't worry about it too much, but it is best practice just to replace your lids as soon as you have finished colouring. So we're going in with DG1 all over this particular leaf. Then we're going in with DG2. Just around the centre where we've got that line through the middle of that leaf. It's giving us a clue as to where that shading is going to be. And then into the very centre, just along that vein, we're going to add our darkest, which is DG3. and that looks fab. We've got a lovely bit of dimension onto there. But if we bring in GY1 just around the very edges, and because alcohol pens are translucent, it allows us to layer them. So to add a little bit of extra shading, a little bit of tone onto there, add that little bit of GY1 afterwards, so the opposite of what we did here. So we added it to start with and then we blended it out. But here you can lift up some of that green tone to add an extra little bit of tone around the edges of that leaf. Now what we do is we would repeat that same sort of technique all over this image. It might look like we've only done a little bit, but if you build up exactly the same techniques that we've just shown, you'll very easily colour in your image. And you can see on this one, we've coloured in that full poinsettia. We're actually going to do a little bit of decoupage. So what we're going to do, this is going to be our top layer. If we move our rotating design board out of the way, and I'll show you what I've done. So we've got how many have we got? Not this one, move that one out of the way. We've got 3 separate images and some of these look a little bit strange.
Oh,
so
that's a great idea, Lily.
All we've done is we've coloured in the centre flower for this one. And then on this one, we've coloured in some of the image. And on this one, we've coloured just the leaves. So for our top layer, this is going to be our top layer. It's just going to be this flower. So all we've needed to do is just colour in this particular flower. The reason why I've not coloured in all of the image on the other layers, just because it saves us time. If we're going to be cutting out areas or if we're going to be covering up specific areas, we don't need to actually colour those in. So it's just sort of thinking about what's going to be covered and what we're going to be cutting out so that we don't have to colour in the full image 3 times over.
I mean, you're getting 6 of each design here, so you really could go to town, couldn't you, if you wanted to on the decoupage?
Absolutely. So in this particular design, we're only using 3 layers, so you could do this twice over with just the single pad. I mean, 6 of each design is incredible. I mean, I'd sort of usually expect to get maybe 3 or 4 at a push duplicates in a pad like this, so to get 6 is absolutely brilliant. It just means that you can do decoupage effects like this and not sort of worried that you're using too many of a particular design. Like I say, I'm only using 3 layers and it leaves me with another 3 of exactly the same design. So
it actually equates, Lily, to 20 pence per sheet. That's before you take your Club Inspired discount off. How
but if you
amazing is that?
think about it, within each pad you get 3 sheets which are foiled and die cut.
Yeah. So
if you
16
think
pence a sheet as a platinum member.
for something with 3 of those sheets being foiled and die cut is quite incredible. And if you think of your sheets which are there to be coloured, you're getting premium quality marker paper. It's not just any old sort of
No, I mean, you'd
cheap
struggle to buy
paper.
you'd struggle to buy the cardstock plain at those kind of
Oh,
prices,
gosh,
let alone
yeah.
with all of this gorgeous artwork on here. And also, you know, it's been printed with the perfect ink in order to take your alcohol markers, which I think is brilliant. You haven't got to think about it whatsoever.
Absolutely. You know that you're going to get that perfect blend because you've got the right sort of cardstock. And a lot of the time with colouring, that is half the battle. It's getting the right tools, it's getting all the right sort of equipment to get you started. But with this, it's taking out that first stage, it's taking out the thinking. You're not having to buy any cards separately. You know that it's printed onto exactly the right sort of paper to get those smooth blends, to get those fabulous blend transitions from light to dark. It's going to give you the best results. So what we're going to do is we're adding a little bit of shape. I've not coloured the centre of that because that's going to be covered, and I've not coloured this area here because I know that that's going to be covered by the top layer. So it's just sort of a little bit of planning, deciding what your layers are going to be, just to save us a little bit of time so we don't have to colour exactly the same image. So we're going to add some foam pads onto the back. I don't know if we've got any of our Weekend Super Saver left. Ooh,
2 left.
2 left.
2 left to
2
check
left.
out.
But you will be getting some foam pads within that collection. You're getting the 3 different sizes as well, which is brilliant because you'll see as I start to build up this image with the different sizes of the different layers, I will be using the different sizes of the foam pads, and it's just really useful to have those different options when you are coming to sticking things with a little bit of dimension. Like I say, you do get your foam pads within your Weekend Super Saver, but if you do prefer to use your Collal 3D glue gel, I know some people do favour that for their decoupage, then absolutely go for that. That will work a treat as well, but I personally do prefer my foam pads, which is why they're in your Weekend Super Saver, as it is me that put that together, but they'll give you a fabulous result with all your decoupage. But all that is 3 layers onto there like so. But look at the depth and dimension, not just in terms of the colouring, but also in terms of the layers onto there, gives you a fabulous result. But of course, we can really go to town with our cards. We don't just have to use the one image on our cards. How about colouring another image using the same sorts of colourways, using similar techniques? So we've used the same technique on those poinsettias that we did on that floral spray, using the same technique on our leaves as well. And then just going in with our BGR3, BGR2 for our candle and our berries, and going in with our GY3 and GY4 for our candle flame, and we can actually use the two together. So let's bring in a card base and I'll show you how we can build this into a lovely card. So we started off with a 6x6 inch card blank, and it's going to look similar to our first card that we created. We've scored again in half, and this is some of our Centura Pearl Fresh White, which I have to say is one of my go-to cardstocks. Get that lovely sheen from the pearl of your Centura, but you also get the fact that it's double-sided, so it's brilliant if you are doing anything where both sides of the cardstock are going to be seen. You know you're going to get that beautiful result on both the front and the reverse. And we're taking some of our papers. This is from our Sarah signature Twas the Night Before Christmas 6x6, and I'm sure a lot of you have got this in your crafty stash at home. And we're laying this onto some gold card. Again, this gold card is from that same card pad that we used with our first card that we created. It's from that glittering gold 12x12 inch pad that you can get on the website. If you look under the shop the day, you'll find a selection of 3 of the 12x12 pads, and it's just the gold pad from there.
Tanya's asked you a very challenging question.
Oh no,
I'm
I'm
be like
worried.
picking her favourite child. She says, what set of pens out of all of them do you prefer to work with, Lily?
Oh my gosh, that is probably the worst
What a
question you could
question.
ever ask me. Oh goodness. Do you know what I always say? My favourite pen is the one I've just used.
Right.
So at the moment it's Illustrators.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's such a hard question. I have to say I'm lucky enough to have all of them. But they all have different uses. I want to say classy. It's because they were the first ones I ever got from the Spectrum range, so they're always going to be special in that way. But I do love my Illustrators, and I do love my tri-blends.
Yeah,
See, it's horses for courses.
All
All of them.
Shadia says, I'm always mesmerised with Lily's colouring ever since she was with Tattered Lace. A long-time fan there.
Oh.
I'd love to know how Shadia watches you do,
Yeah.
or how she used to watch you do Tattered Lace. Shadia's in Canada, I believe. So.
It's so lovely to have your company. I'm so pleased.
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you.
I was calling Shadia Shadia for the last 2 years, and we only found out the other day. I was getting her name wrong
Oh
for 2
gosh,
years.
that's what I'm sorry, that's exactly what I've called her all this time as well.
Shadia is how you say it.
Apologies,
We're still not living that down. And Laughing Gravy, what a great name, Laughing Gravy. So, Joe, are you going to show the Spectrum Noir pen storage bag, please? Do you know what, as soon as you ask so nicely, yes, I will show it to you after this demo.
Oh yes, just finishing this card off. So all we've done is we've added our mats and layers. It's like an easel card, but quite often when we do an easel card, we have sort of like an extra piece that we add onto the top to complete it, but we don't always have to do that. It gives you quite a nice, interesting effect by having the topper sort of overlapping across the top of our card base. It gives you that little extra bit of interest. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to use this piece that we coloured in at the start, that we snipped out from our pad, as actually our stopper along the bottom of this easel card. So what we're going to do is just going to stand this up. We're going to decide exactly how we want our easel card to stand. I'm deciding actually which way around I want this. I think I'll go for that way, but it's sort of one of those that can go in any direction you like, which is quite nice. And I think I'm going to add that onto there, around about there, I think. So it stands quite nicely, and then it shows us how we can decoupage our images, but we can also use 2 different images from the same pad, same colour tones with both, so that it gives us that continuity. But how fabulous does that look? But so much fun to create, and a card shape that's something a little bit different as well.
Absolutely, really glorious. That a really beautiful way. Love using the 2 designs together is a very, very clever way of doing it. Remember then what you are going to receive within this brand new launch. It has only launched today and it is really busy. So you've got the Miracle of Christmas is this first one. This is very much a sort of reason for the season style theme. That's what it's going to look like when you colour it up. You will also get Nature's Christmas with lots of really lovely floral elements, wreaths there for you as well. Maybe you'll be kissing someone under the mistletoe. You've got some mistletoe mistletoe there as well. Merry Christmas to all is that real sort of traditional Santa-led Christmas, the roaring fire, which is gorgeous, and then you've got winter scenes, so you've got those landscapes there for you, which are absolutely glorious. £31.95 or £41.45 is those, saving you 20%, which is excellent considering this is a brand new launch. What I also want to show you, Laughing Gravy, I'll have a little look at it. I think it was this one you were meaning, Laughing Gravy. I always think this one's so hard to see on screen because it's all black, like matte black. It's so difficult to see it, but I shall try my best. I absolutely love this one because you've got lots of pockets in pockets. So you've got your front flap here. Let's just open that up for you. I've just closed that up. There we go. Let me actually open it. That'd be handy. And in there you've got loads of storage. So you've got lovely netted pockets in here. You've got another pocket just in the front of there too, which is really handy. So you've got that one. Then if we open the actual front itself, here we are, there's the zipper. Really good quality. Everything's beautifully stitched and piped, and the zips are lovely as well. This has got our ink pad. Can you see that? It's got our ink pad trays in there. I think it's the monitor in the studio. You've got. It just looks like there's nothing in there. Your ink pad trays are in there. You can put those universal pen storage trays in there if you want to as well. So you could store your markers in there. What I would say is it's not designed to store your tri-blends in here in this way. It's a little bit too on. They're a little bit on the long side, so it doesn't quite have the depth that you would need for tri-blends. So all your other markers absolutely fine. The other good thing as well with the universal trays is you can mix and match, so you could have half ink pads and half pens, and then you've got a really another lovely pocket here. You've got two netted pockets in there, more netted pockets in here. It's just a little TARDIS. I think it's a really great, if you don't have the luxury of a craft room, I think, you know, items like this are fantastic. Same on the other side with the pockets, and it's mega stylish. It's like a crafty man bag, isn't it? I love it. Absolutely brilliant. Great value as well. You've got 10% saving on that, $44.99 or $53.99 if you want to go for that. And it's got little studs on the bottom as well, so it's going to keep it all nice and pristine for you. Right, we're going to move on now. We've got a best ever deal for you on the everyday colouring pads. Now these launched in March. Lily did the launch of these and they are exquisite. This is the first time I've actually seen these, which is brilliant. So this one here is your butterflies and botanicals. Now remember, you're getting 6 of each again in here, and you've got toppers as well that go with these, which is excellent. So that's your butterflies and botanicals. You'll also get the floral delight too. Again, it's in that pad-based system that you've seen with the other ones. Oh, hello. Look at these tropical creatures. Look at that warthog. I think it's a warthog. Spiritually wild. Oh, just like myself. And then we have that. What's that?
It's a fucking wolf.
Is that a wolf? Oh, I thought it was a warthog for a moment.
Well, it can be a warthog if you want it to be.
I think
it's all about how you colour them, Joe.
Absolutely, it's very abstract wolf, isn't it? That one, it's a fashionista wolf. I'm loving the zebra. That is a zebra, isn't it? Yes, I'm loving the zebra. Zebra, elephant, wolf, peacock, lion, tiger. Is that right? I used to get tigers and lions confused. Yeah. That was one of those things I was the worst at getting them the right way round. And then, of course, you've got this one here, which is your fantasy one, which is your Enchanted Adventure. It's your best ever deal on this, which is excellent. $27.97 or $36.26 gets you all of them. So you could actually go for your everyday ones and your Christmas ones. You get 8 pads then, and you get all of them for a fantastic deal. Suzanne says, could we possibly see the underside of the rotating design board, please? I was wondering if I could have it on my knee or lap and use it. Great question. Yeah, flat on the underside, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a flat bottom.
Yeah,
so you should be absolutely fine. Yeah, it's great to get it on a tray, but it's not too heavy. It's got enough weight to it that you know it's good quality, but it's not like super heavy. I'm not straining to lift it up, but it is absolutely fabulous if you are working on your lap.
Yeah, it is brilliant, so make sure you grab that. You get it with the magnetic tool set included. Oh. 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 I didn't realise you had 30% off of this. 30% off. That's the best. Is that the best ever price?
It must be one of the best ever.
That's amazing, isn't it?
I put that deal together. I'm looking at it now thinking, have I made a bit of a mistake? I'm thinking, can I come into the office tomorrow?
Are you in tomorrow?
Yeah.
You are, oh dear. Yeah, I mean that's a great deal on that. I mean I've seen it bundled in some great deals with things like bags and other stuff. But to get it on its own with the magnetic tools, I'm guessing then you're kind of getting the magnetic tools for free when you get it like that, because I think the board's about £20, isn't it normally? So you've got the tools included as well. Brilliant deal there. Will the universal bag hold the tri-blend brushes? No, it will not. Not designed to hold any of your tri-blend range. So everything else, your classics, your illustrators, all of those things, absolutely fine. It's not designed to hold your tri-blends. They're just a little bit on the long side, so you don't end up with them sort of poking out a little bit, which we don't want, do we? Let's face it. Right, let's head back to Lily for some more colouring inspiration.
Oh yeah. Can I just show off for a second?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I'm like my storage and my organisation. It's horrendous at the moment. I say it time and time again. But last weekend I actually organised all my classiques.
Did you?
So
Check you up?
I did. I was very proud. So I've got my universal carry bag, the big one that Joe's just shown you. Got all the trays in and they're all neat. I can't tell you, it's the best feeling ever. So definitely get your storage sorted. And it's so much easier when you're colouring. I can see all my colours. I know what colours I've got. It's brilliant. But yeah, that's my little pat on the back there. But we'll carry on with the colouring now.
And it means you get more time for colouring, less time searching for the colours you need, doesn't it?
Honestly, the difference it has made in just a week is brilliant. So definitely do get organised. But another note about the tri-blends, we do have the tri-blend carry case on the show. You get 48 that you can fit in there, and it's a special little bag, especially for your tri-blends, just because I can show you actually. So I've got a classic here and a tri-blend here, and because of the fact that we do have basically 3 pens in one in your tri-blends, they are a little bit longer than your regular classics or illustrators, so that is why you do need the different storage.
Yeah, details
for
that are on the bottom of the screen there. $35.99 and $44.99 today, which is lovely. Getting a little discount there. Love a cheeky little discount on Sunday, Lily, don't we?
I wonder who put that on there. Ooh, I do wonder. I do actually have my tri-blends organised in those, and it is fabulous to have them in the cases. Really is. So we're going to do, we touched on this technique a little bit on the last demo, and I did say we'll look at it a little bit further, a little bit of tip-to-tip transferring, which I love. So we're going to go in with this beautiful butterfly. I love a butterfly and flowers, and I'm happy. So this has got to be one of my favourite pads from that everyday collection of 4. So we're going to go in with our hydrangea blend and our magenta blend, and we're going to start off with our tri-blend brushes. Now we did have that question about which is my favourite pen, and we're going to show you on this image exactly why you need them all, because we're going to be working with both our regular tri-blends and our tri-blend brushes. So we'll start off with our hydrangea blend. We're going to start off with our lowest, which is our HB1, and we're going to just work in this centre section. So 4 wings of the butterfly, but as always we're going to start off with 1 section at a time, so 1 wing at a time, and all it'll be the case of building up that technique on the 1 wing. When we're happy with that particular area, then we'll move on to the next area within the image, and it's just repeating that technique. So once we are happy that we know exactly the way to make that technique work and the way to make it look best, we just move on and repeat that technique into other areas of the image. So we're colouring just over half of that particular wing from the centre and leaving the tip not coloured. Then we're going to go in with our magenta blend, and we're just going to colour in. So at first it's going to look like, I don't think those 2 colours are going to blend, very much like we had earlier when we were using our illustrators. We can do the same sort of technique with our tri-blends, and we're working with our tri-blend brush just because we're going to be doing a flicking technique, and that's going to allow us to achieve that technique really easily, and it's going to give us the best results, and it's going to be the easiest to flick. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. So we're going to start to flick downwards, and always this is the perfect way to use your rotator design board. I find it really difficult to flick upwards. I find it a lot easier to flick downwards. You might be the opposite. Just find what works best for you. I always say when it comes to crafting, it's always so personal. It's always about what you find easiest and what's most comfortable. But definitely rotate your artwork rather than your wrist. Makes it a lot easier. So we're flicking, we're overlapping, and we're flicking into that purple area. Then we're going to go back in with that HB1, that original colour that we laid down, that light purple. And we're just going to flick back outwards so we start to blend those 2 colours together. Now if we're not happy that our colour is blended well enough, just like we did the other time, I'm going to transfer the dark onto the light, just fusing those two tips. And again, we're not worrying about contaminating our nibs. They'll only be temporarily contaminated. As we start to colour, we'll leach that colour out. And as we can see, when we colour onto our cardstock, we're back to our normal colour. So I'm happy with the blend between those two. All it's going to be a case of now is going back to our hydrangea blend, going back in with our mid-tone, and like we have done for all our other shading that we've done today already, we're going to start to shade with our mid-tone, and then we'll bring in our dark. So flicking outwards from the centre of that wing, then taking our very darkest colour within that 3-pen blend and flicking from the very centre outwards. Then we're going to go back to our pink, our magenta, and we're going to do the same technique with the pink section. So it's almost like we are doing the two sections as separate, but we're also fusing them in the centre to get that blend between the two different colour families. So two totally different colour families, very different tones, your pink and your purple, but making them work together, but still adding the shading for the two different colour families, top and bottom. So quite simple to do. Once you know the technique, you can repeat it onto the other wings.
This is interesting to see because it's a sort of different way of doing things, isn't it, compared to how we'd normally colour these panels, really?
Absolutely. So it's just different techniques. Always experiment with all your different techniques, and your pads are perfect for this because you are getting 6 of each design. So if you are just having a practice, perhaps you're not exactly sure how it's going to go, you don't need to worry too much because you do get so many multiples of each design. It's going to be, so it gives you a little bit of a safety net. You know that you've got 6 different repeats of each design, so lots of creative opportunities to get colouring and get experimenting. So what we do is we do the same technique onto our 4 petals, but I'm just going to show you onto one of the flowers the technique that we'd be using to colour that in. So we're going back to our normal tri-blends now, not our brush ones. We're going to our blue turquoise shades, and we're going in with our palest one within this 3-pen blend, which is our BT7. I'm going to work on this small area here. Just because I'm going back to my normal tri-blend rather than my tri-blend brush, so I don't need that flicking technique. I need that more precision, firmer nib that we get with our regular tri-blends. So it's a similar sort of nib to what we'd have on our classiques. So if you're used to your classiques, then you'll get on absolutely brilliantly with our normal tri-blends. And we're just laying down that colour, that lightest colour tone within the 3-pen blend onto this area of the flower. Then we're going in with our mid-tone, and we can see that we've got one of the veins already drawn in for us. So we know that that area is going to be a little bit darker. Where there's a higher concentration of lines, that we know that it's going to be darker, and we're going to need more shading onto there. So we're just following the clues that the artwork has given us. And then we go in with our darkest tone just around the very edges. This petal is in front, so it's going to be overlapping this one that's underneath, which is where it's going to be casting a shadow. So we're going to have our darkest area onto there. And then we'd repeat that same sort of technique. We'd build up that image using the same sort of methods that we've just
amazing,
shown.
Louis.
But how does that pop against there? Having
Really
the two
cool,
different
isn't it?
colour families, doesn't it look so different? To just having the one colour tone, we could just have a pink butterfly, or we could just have a purple butterfly, or perhaps we could have 2 purple wings and 2 pink wings. But doesn't it just look so effective to use your 2 different colour families? But across this whole image, all I've done is I've used 4 pens, and that is it.
Yeah, I think also having the right cardstock for the pens as well is going to give you that better blend, isn't it? It's going to help that colour to move around properly on the page, and that's what you've got. You've got the optimum cardstock for creating the best results possible. So when you've got great pens, great cardstock, they're like a match made in heaven, aren't they?
Absolutely. One of the main questions and main problems we have when we get new crafters trying out colouring, what they tend to do is they'll get some stamps or perhaps some digital stamps, and they'll print them or they'll stamp them onto their regular photocopier paper, and then they'll find that they can't get the same results that they've seen us guys on Crafters TV, or that perhaps they've seen online, people getting these amazing results, and they're thinking, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get the same sort of results? And so often it's because they're using inferior quality paper. You can't get that same blend if you've not got the right sort of cardstock. So by having these pads, which are already printed onto specialist marker, premium quality card, you know that's not going to be an issue at all. Your cardstock is perfect for the job. And like anything, it's about having the right tools for the job. If you've got the right pens, like we've got in our Spectrum Noir range, if you've got the right paper, then absolutely you're away and you know that you're going to get the best results you possibly can. Just takes all the thinking out and it just allows us to enjoy the really fun bit, which is experimenting with all our different colouring techniques, which is just fabulous. So I'm going to pop this onto a card base now. So it's a 6x6 inch card base, but what we've done at the front, we've chopped away a section. So this top section is only 1.5. We've chopped a little bit off the bottom, which is also 1.5. We're going to create a sort of bridge card. We brought in some pattern papers. This is quite an old one actually. This is an old Nature's Garden one. Something butterfly, I want to say beautiful butterflies. I'm sure a lot of you guys at home will have this. I know it was super popular. But any of your paper pads would work beautifully. I'm thinking Nature's Garden Hummingbird might be quite nice with this in terms of the colour tones. But we've matted and layered onto some turquoise Centura pearl, just to bring out the colour tones that we used in the flowers. For the flowers, by the way, if you're wondering, I used blue turquoise shades for the darker one, and for the lighter one, that is aqua blue blend, and they were both our regular tri-blends, not our tri-blend brushes. So we used the brushes for the butterflies to get that lovely flicking technique, but for the flowers we used just our, I don't really like saying regular tri-blends, it makes them sound like they're boring or there's something a bit basic about them. It's just a different sort of nib, which makes them good for different techniques. What we're doing is this section in the middle, we're adding a little bit of acetate to bridge that gap between that top piece and this extra piece that we're adding to the bottom. This is going to give us a sort of floating effect. I must say I love creating cards like this. Really easy to create, but they give you quite a different effect. They're almost like a little bit of an optical illusion. They just give you that little point of difference when you're coming to create your cards. And it's just taking your pads that one step further to give you a little bit of a more interesting effect. Anything with acetate I always think looks really interesting. It just makes your cards look really special. Almost like a little bit of trickery when you bring in a little bit of acetate, which looks fabulous. So our artwork, we've matted and layered that onto that same Centura pearl in turquoise, just to get everything flowing between all our mats and layers. And of course, to finish it off, we had our sentiments within our Christmas pad, and it's no different with our everyday. We do have our foiled and die cut sentiments, and again we've got silver, we've got gold, and we've got rose gold. And I've gone for the silver. I'm going to add that onto there, just overlapping. Keeps that design flowing, keeps drawing the eye into the centre. Without it, there'd be a little bit of space there, it would look a little bit bare, so adding our sentiment just finishes that off absolutely beautifully. But using our everyday card front colouring pads, how fabulous does that look? Using different techniques, a few pattern papers, looks absolutely fabulous, but really fun to colour in.
Excellent, really cool. Love the concept as well. Exactly the same concept as that brand new Christmas launch, but just in the everyday one, which is excellent. My shirt looks like it could have come out of one of these pads, doesn't it?
Oh, it could have done. And maybe we should ask for a fruity pad.
A fruity pad. Fruity,
yeah.
fruity as Johnny says. Fruity. Tutti fruity. Enchanted Adventure is the first one you're going to get in here. You will also get the Warthog there in Spiritually Wild. You've got Floral Delight. And then you've got the butterflies and the botanics. Yeah, I just love the animals. You've got the animal one, I think is really cool. I love that you've got the giraffe in there. So cool they've put a turkey in. I've always loved donkeys as well, so make sure you snap those up. Your platinum price is $22.38 or $29.01. Congratulations if you got the weekend super saver. It has gone. You must check out your basket. What I would say, if we have any bounce back, anyone, if people put in their credit card details and stuff, and sometimes we'll have some bounce back in the system about an hour later. I'll let you know if that happens, but at the minute it has totally sold out and gone. So congratulations if you've got your hands on that. Right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back for some more inspiration on the other side of this, which happens to be some of the fun stuff we like to get up to here at Crafters TV. Take a look.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. So, join our family of craft experts with live tutorials and demonstrations every day. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products here on Crafters TV.
Just reach down my bra and take it off. What? No, not my bra! No, my bra!
Get creative and craft along with our amazing deals. Your next craft project is only a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week or watch on catch up at crafterscompanion.com Facebook or our YouTube channel. You can chat to us, craft along and meet new friends in our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
You all had time with each other! You're not through to boot camp, get off!
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. So, stop what you're doing and enjoy the fun here on Crafters TV.
Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash.
Make light work of intricate and delicate die-cutting designs with the Pokey Tool from Crafter's Companion. An absolute essential part of any paper crafter's kit, its precise tip has been designed to release the tiniest pieces to reveal your finished results with absolute precision. And to make sure your finished project is perfect, each Pokey Tool has a rubber tip protector, so there's no risk of damaging your die-cutting design or yourself. The Crafter's Companion Pokey Tool is such an essential craft item, we've included 2 in each set.
Quick Buy, get yours now.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the Crafters Companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
What an extremely busy show we are having. Right, we're going to go back to that brand new Christmas launch for you. It's like we're full steam ahead, Christmas. Lily was just telling me a funny story. She said last weekend she was sat out pre-preparing her demos. Were you in public, Lily?
Yeah, because I live in flats, so I sat, I don't have a garden, so I sat like on grass outside, colouring Christmas images in about 30-degree heat. I thought, if anyone walks past and has a look what I'm colouring, they're going to think I've gone mad. Luckily, nobody said anything, so I was all right. But
people, you get a heat stroke out colouring Christmas images.
Yeah.
But, I mean, non-crafty people just don't understand that Christmas starts right now. Christmas is well and truly started. Let me take you through what you're getting then. This first one is the Miracle of Christmas, so you're going to get that included. It transforms when you add colour to them. And remember, you're going to be able to colour these however you wish. This is just one option, or one way of colouring these. Think about how changing those colours and altering that, you are going to completely change the look and feel of these images. That one's Merry Christmas to all. And we also have in here as well the winter scenes, which are these ones just here. All of those coming your way, £31.95 or £41.45. You can get them individually. What I would say is you won't get the discount when you get them individually. So if you do get them all together, you get a 20% discount, which is absolutely fabulous. So do make sure you get them as a bundle. That becomes £25.56 or £33.16 for platinum members. Right then, we're going to go back over to Lee and squeeze in one more demo, I do believe.
absolutely. So we're going to just add in my red liner tape onto this ready, but we're going to squeeze in one last one. Thought we need to bring in one of the scenes. Time to create a scene on a Sunday morning, why not? So we're going to bring in one of these lovely snowy scenes. So I've just removed this from the pad, and I always, you'll have noticed, I always work out of the pad. So I tear my designs out of the pad and then colour them in. If you do prefer to keep them within the pad and you prefer to work within your pad, just make sure you pop a scrap piece of paper underneath the particular design that you're working on, just to protect your design underneath. I'm going to start with LG4. I'm going to colour in one of these trees on our image. Got several of these trees, got such lovely detail within here, so our classiques are going to be absolutely brilliant because we have such a fine bullet nib onto these classic pens. So as always, focusing on one area of the design at a time. In this particular instance, we're going for this tree here. And we're going to starting off with our palest tone, our LG4, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to mix colour families. So if you are new to your colouring, new to the Spectrum Noir numbering and lettering system, then if they've got the same letters, basically they're from the same colour family. Higher numbers are going to be darker, so we're going in now with our LG5, which we know is going to be darker than LG4 because we've got a higher number. And that's just basically how the system works. And it's the same with the tri-blends. So tri-blends have the same numbers as our classiques and illustrators. So you can actually mix and match all of the different pens. So perhaps you want to blend an illustrator and a classique just because you've got a particular colour tone in one family but not in the other type of pen. You can actually blend between the two different or the four different even different types of alcohol pens. They are all the same sort of ink because they're all alcohol based ink, so you can blend them all together if you wish. So what we're doing is we're just following the lines. Again, we've got all the clues within that image, we've got all the line work in there, so all we're doing is just following those lines that the image has already put in for us. Then we're going in with our JG2, difficult one to get your teeth around, but that's a jade green 2. And adding this around the edges, so we're blending two different colour families, but we're still going to get a fabulous result. And it's just a case of working out which colour families are going to work together. But if you are new, just stick to the one colour family, and you know that all the tones within that family are going to transition to from light to dark, and they're all going to blend together beautifully. Then to finish it off around the very edges, we're going in with JG7. We're going around the edges, we're adding the darker at the edges just to give it that sort of, if we think about a tree, it's almost like a cone shape if you like. So we want darker around the edges and we want lighter around the centre. And to give us that sense of form, that sense of shape to this particular object, we're going to shade around the edges, adding our darkest tone around the very edges of this particular tree to give us that sense of perspective even, and give us that realistic finish to this tree. And we do the same technique on all the trees on this image, and that would give us that lovely finish. I'm going to add a little bit onto just underneath these lines that we've got to add that sense of texture and to just bring out that detail even more. So dark around the edges and then bringing it in to the centre where those lines are to add that extra little bit of texture, and that would give us that result really quite easily. And we just repeat that for all the other trees within the image. But we're going to move on to a different section within this particular image now, and we're going to move on to the roof. We're going to bring in our earth brown family. Starting off with our palest, which is EB2. We're just going to focus on this area of the roof, and all we're going to do is we're just going to colour over the image. I'm colouring quite quickly. It's quite nice to take your time, building up those layers, colouring something that you don't want to rush, something that you want to take your time over. You really want to enjoy colouring in all these beautiful images. The artwork is so gorgeous. There's so many different sorts of designs that we've got across the 4 pads. There really is something, I'm going to say, for every occasion. We are sort of thinking winter and Christmas. We have called them the Christmas card front colouring pads, but they can just be for winter in general. I mean, this would make a fabulous winter card. It doesn't have to necessarily be Christmas. With it being a church design, perhaps you've got a christening that's coming up in the winter season. You could absolutely use this design for that. It doesn't just have to be Christmas. Any sort of winter themed occasion, these are going to work fabulously.
So, Lily, as well, you always move in sort of circular motions. Is that important?
You just find that it's very similar. So when we use our inks and we're blending with the edges of our cardstock with our inks, we tend to work in circular motions to give us that smoothest lay down of ink. And it's very similar with our pens as well. When I'm doing my first layer, because I want a nice smooth even layer of ink onto there, I'll tend to work in smooth circular motions. And then as I come to my darker colours, if I'm wanting to sort of show form on there, so for example here, I'm wanting to show the shape of these tiles, then I might shade in a different sort of direction. But if I'm just generally shading to lay down colour with no sort of particular shading onto there, I'll tend to use my circular motions just to get a really smooth lay down of colour. So if you are used to using your inks, perhaps your water reactive or pigment inks, and you're used to working with your blending tools in your circular motions, then it's exactly the same sort of thing with your alcohol pens, just to give you that even lay down of colour. So we've gone in then with our EB3, and now we're on EB5. We're just sort of following those lines that we've already got within the image, just following the lines of where these roof slats are. So imagine underneath the line between the different sort of layers, it's going to be a little bit darker. So we're going to add our darker tones onto there to start to build up that shading. And then finally we're going to go in with our darkest, which is our EB8. And that's going to be added around the very edges and just underneath the tiles to give that sort of sense of shading. So underneath each tile, sort of be casting a shadow where the row above is. So that's where it's going to be darkest onto this area of the image. So just to finish that off.
Really beautiful how that comes together.
So easy though.
Really great how it gives the illusion that you coloured all of those tiles individually as well.
Yeah, absolutely, but think how long that would have taken. I mean, we could have broken each tile down and coloured one at a time, but it would have been a little bit tedious, to be fair. So doing the one section all as one still gives you a fabulous result. But if we just speed this up, because time's running away from us, it's one of those things, Colour Me Happy always goes so quickly. When you start colouring, it's sort of like, gosh, time really does fly. But we've used the same technique on the different sections. For our church itself, we use MB3, MB2 and MB1. We'd add a little bit of GY3 just to add that sort of effect of light into our windows. Then around the edge, we went in with an IB2 just to sort of pull that out. We've also added a little bit of our clear sparkle pen to our snow, just to add a little bit of sparkle. If you can't have sparkle at Christmas, when can you? Sparkle is always definitely needed at Christmas. What we're going to do is we're not going to create this into a card as such at all. We're going to actually make it into a shadow box. So I've taken my, this is my 6x4 inch shadow box die. You will find these on the website. We do a slimline size, we do a 5x7, and we do this 6x4. And all I've done is I've run it through my die cutting machine with some brownie coloured textured card. I've chosen a colour that's sort of similar to the colour that I've used for the church in the centre, just to tie everything together, sort of draw the eye into the centre. And I'm adding that into the middle of my shadow box. Then all we're going to do is I've just reinforced all my score lines that the die will put in for you, and then we add some red liner tape to these tabs around the edges. And if you did get your weekend super saver, you will have some of this 3mm tape already, but if not, you will find all our red liner tape on the web. And you'll find that for these tabs, the best one is definitely your 3mm. That's the best size to go for. And then on these little pieces here, we also need a little bit of red liner tape. So just onto each corner.
You're very dexterous with this red liner tape. I just can't imagine how I would cut it that small and then be able to get it onto that tiny little tab. I'd be all fingers and thumbs at this point, Lily.
I think I do have quite nimble little fingers, and I think as well it's practice. A lot of red liner tape does get used. I probably get through a roll of each about a week. So yeah, I do like my construction projects, and red liner tape is definitely you go to for something like this. The only thing I hate about red liner tape is the backing gets absolutely everywhere. It is a nightmare trying to dispose of that backing. You end up finding it left, right and centre. Walked into my living room the other day, bit of red liner tape backing on the floor. And then you pick it up, then it's stuck to your hand, and then, it does get a bit static. But if we fold those little tabs in first, and then we go to the two long edges, and I find it's easiest if you fold the two longer tabs down first, and then if you do your two shorter tabs afterwards. I find that gives you the best result. So fold that tab in and then just line it up. So we've got that side of our shadow box, And it's just a different way of using your card front colouring pads to make them into sort of a little photo frame. But by using your shadow box dies, it's just so much more fun to actually create that frame yourself, and easy to do with literally just one piece of cardstock. Run it through your die cutting machine once, stick the sides together, and you'll get a lovely finished piece. Great for perhaps you want to do Christmas gifts to decorate the home. This would be a great one to go for as well. Like I say, do the two longest sides first. I must say I've made quite a few of these, and I've found through trial and error it is easiest to do your two longer sides regardless of whether you're using your 7x5, your 6x4 or your slimline. Two longest edges first, and then if you do your two shorter sides afterwards, you will find that you get just folds a lot easier, get a much better finish. You can add a little bit of red liner tape into those corners onto there to reinforce it further, but just push your two sides in and then just push down on that edge, and that should grab and you should get a nice neat finish onto there. I always find it's best with these if you actually once they come out of the die cutting machine, they will pop all the score lines in for you with the die, but I just tend to reinforce mine again with just one of my scoring boards and a scoring tool to give you a really nice sharp crease onto there. And that's built that into our photo frame. To finish it off, I've just created a little stand that's going to go on the back. So it's just a piece, it's about 3 by 4 inches. We've scored about ½ inch from the top, which is where we're going to add our adhesive onto there. A little bit of tape runner. You could of course be using your red liner tape. Just for speed, we're using our tape runner. And then finally, to finish it off, we're just going to add one of our sentiments. This is Let It Snow. We've gone for the rose gold foiling on this one. And then we add a little bit, one of our foam pads onto that top right hand corner, just where it's going to overlap the frame. Add that onto there, think about like so, just to finish it off. But really easy to actually create that into a photo frame, but it does stand because we've got our stand on the back.
Brilliant. I'm just going to recap quickly what's in that collection. Should we get that card of the show vote underway?
Oh, yeah.
Lily. In fact, we'll do the card of the show vote first, and then I'll come back and I will take you back through what is included, because I know we are a little bit pressed for time. It's going to be a difficult choice for you during this show. Let's have a little look what we've got there. I think it's lovely Chloe today.
We've got number 1. That's number 1 for you. Number 2, we have our Santa box. It's demo number 2.
Loving that.
Demo number 3, I'm just always trying to remember the order. By the time you get to the end of the show, I can never quite remember. Demo number 3 with our little bit of decoupage. We went for our everyday pads for demo number 4. And then finally, the one we've just done, our little shadow box, that is demo number 5. So get your votes in.
Amazing. Right, you've got a minute or less than a minute to vote.
Go!
Very, very quick one. Go, Chloe, go. Let me take you back through what you are getting. Remember, you're getting 6 of each design within here, and then the 3 sets of toppers as well, which is just brilliant. It really is great value, these. This is what they look like when you, of course, get them home. This is what they're going to look like coloured up. And this is just one suggestion of how you can add colour. That's the Miracle of Christmas, that first one. We also have Nature's Christmas within there too, and this is the sort of thing that you're going to be able to create when you have those. We also bring you Merry Christmas to All, and again, look how they transform when you've got that colour added to them. And finally, Winter Scenes is the 4th one you are getting. They are available individually. However, you're getting them individually, you're not going to get the discount. So getting them as a bundle, which is the deal that is there on your screen at the moment, is far and away the best way of getting your hands on these. So don't miss out on them. £31.95 or £41.45. It actually equates to about 20 pence per sheet in the UK. It's brilliant value for money. That's before you put your club inspired discount on there. We do also have the everyday ones for you too. The everyday ones do also come with topper sheets as well in them, so just bear that in mind. But you've got 4 different ones here. This is the best price yet on these as well, saving you £11.99 or £15.54. This is Enchanted Adventure. You will also get Spiritually Wild. Then we have your Floral Flight there, and Butterflies and Botanics. Winner of the card of the show is number 3, Lily. Number 3. So that one.
This one, I
beautiful. Gorgeous, yes.
Yeah,
well deserved winner, I would say. Absolutely glorious. Really beautiful. Right, Lily, massive thank you. Don't forget what's coming up later here on Crafters TV. So 2 p.m. in the UK, 9 o'clock over on the East Coast, 9 a.m. of course. It's a kinetic masterclass, all about movement. Oh yeah, that's coming up a little later today. And then Johnny has never sounded less cool. He just went, groovy baby, in my ear. Very strange. I know. Don't forget after that as well, we will have Second Chance Sunday. That'll be coming up for you at 6 p.m. in the UK, 1 p.m. on the East Coast, 10 a.m. On the West Coast. Don't forget to check out your baskets, and myself and Lily will see you back here in an hour's time. Take care.